Welcome to the Seraphaeum. My name is Lucrezia. If you're new here, please don't hesitate to subscribe. Help me grow the channel if this reading resonates with you. I typically do monthly readings by sign. This one's going to be a little different. It is for the eclipse season and for the eclipse happening on April 8th. And if you're returning, welcome back. Glad to have you here. So in the center of this reading, you'll see a card that stands out here. I pulled an angel card, and it's kind of funny, but I'm not surprised that this card is correlated with death. So transformation, rebirth, that whole endeavor and undertaking. It is also the 72nd card of the deck, which means it's the last card. So big message on endings here. And that's not surprising because eclipses are kind of a check-in point. And not just to check in with yourself and where you are spiritually, mentally, emotionally on the line of, your fate and destiny, but they're also sort of opportunities to choose a completely new path or to get back onto the path that you want to be on or that you are destined or fated to be on. And I feel that is far more important than trying to manifest the outcome. Doing the check-in, seeing where you are, primarily spiritually, but also physically, mentally, emotionally, and making commitments to yourself. If you're not where you want to be, or if things just aren't quite as you would like them to be, or perhaps you're just like, I want a whole new story. I want to rewrite, or I want to write something completely new for myself. I want to take a completely new journey. This would be the time to write out that plan. It's not time to execute it during an eclipse. Eclipses are usually for more contemplative and passive workings if you're doing any. So they're not quite for manifesting or for projective spell work, by which I mean you're trying to make something happen. It's not really time to, again, execute. It's more time to plan. But it's also the review process. It's also the process of research. And it's not just, okay, I'm going to write down my goals and that's it. I mean, you could do that for the eclipse. You'd be fine. But if you really want to utilize it, think about getting into a meditative state or a trance state and, really taking in the energies and the messages that you get there. Because they're going to be different. They're going to be more potent during an eclipse. Now, as far as what we have in the cards here, there's a pretty big message here, I feel, about, we have Justice and the Hanged Man, the Hermit, the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck here. Whatever you have been in conflict with, now is the time to simply stop. Like, if something's happening in your life, if something is causing chaos, if somebody's causing you emotional turmoil, whatever it is, if it's a job, if it's, a family situation, if it's your partner, the message here is to pull back your energy entirely, pull it back to you, and let things happen as they're going to happen. Don't try to control anything going on right now because a lot is going to be revealed. Eventually, we will have that justice. And the eclipse is going to bring out this kind of revealing energy, right? So And we might even see this on a larger scale, not just in our personal lives. Things being exposed, justice being served, people being exposed. But in your personal sphere, the more you try to fight any change or any kind of, what do I want to call this? Any kind of, I'm looking at this Knight of Wands, and I feel like it's a forceful energy. Any kind of change that's just coming in and you don't really have a choice about it. People exposing themselves, you know, causing a ruckus, whatever it is, stay out of it. Stay quietly in your lane over here with the Ten of Cups. It's not going to be easy, I don't think, to to fight the urge to either speak your truth, stand up for yourself, whatever it is that this Knight of Wands is embodying, and that Five of Swords in the reverse. But that energy is coming up to reveal what it needs to reveal. It's going to reveal the people, the source of the problem, the secrets that people have been keeping, either for themselves or for an organization or for other people. But at the same time, what's interesting here is all of this is between the Six of Pentacles and the Hermit. And so the advice that I'm seeing in this is to sit on the sideline and just watch. Because if you want to get involved in this, you know, you're going to also face the justice. It's kind of like whoever sticks their neck out right now. You'll find out. You'll find out how that goes. And it's, you know, if you stick your neck out and you have nothing to, you know, you haven't messed around, so you're not going to really find out much. That's fine too. That's not really the point here, though. It's more, you're going to be seeing a lot of things come to the surface. And internally, this might even be trauma situations that, you know, you've had a very hard time letting go of. Even if the person and or situation is in the distant past, it's still going to be dredged up with this eclipse. And the idea here and the guidance here is that you take that and give it its send-off, give it its goodbye. Allow yourself to release. You know, a lot of practitioners and a lot of spiritual guides talk about releasing a situation or a person or, you know, this thing, right? With this eclipse, formulate that as, I'm releasing myself from this thing. It has stayed with me. It's been, you know, in my psyche. It's been in my body. It's been, you know, taking up way too much space and time. And yes, it was painful, or yes, it traumatized me. But now I'm going to focus on it and sit with it one last time so that I can release myself from it. Now, am I saying your memory of perhaps traumas or upsetting situations is going to instantly vanish and you'll never think about it again? No. What this is more doing is releasing its hold on you. It's not erasing the thing itself. Now, I feel that there's also a message here about health in general. And so this could be a time to either get ahead of things health-wise, if you've been meaning to, you know, maybe go to the gym, work out, get your physical health in order, start, you know, start a new sort of dietary plan for yourself, whatever it is. This would be a great time to start implementing those routines and those practices, even if you're doing it little by little. Now, spiritually and emotionally, this is going to feel like a roller coaster. Because as I was talking about, you know, you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff going on. Some of you might even be involved in the stuff going on. And that might be very difficult to keep yourself out of it, to not expose yourself to the sword of justice. But at the same time, if you have been part of something and you haven't, that you need to now, speak up about or distance yourself from, more importantly, it's tricky. Because for some of you, I feel you're going to know that you need to make your stance very clear with this person, with this situation. For others of you, the best idea is to remove yourself. And so trust your intuition on that. Because you don't want to get caught up in the calamity. Because I feel like there are certain energies that have been embodied in certain people, and that's what is coming to judgment. And even for yourself, this is a big wake-up call. This is, where am I not aligned with my own principles and morals and who I want to be? How am I not living that? In what ways am I perhaps even being counterproductive to that or counter to that? And there's going to be a kind of awakening that happens with that. Or at least the energy is there for you to utilize it in that way. Because this is all energy with the eclipse. You could do absolutely nothing. Nothing will happen. You might see some things or hear about some things other people have gone through, and nothing will happen. It's all about your involvement and your awareness and your utilization of the energies. But I want to talk about this Ten of Cups a little bit with justice. Because whatever it is that is going to be revealed, exposed, brought to the sword, so to speak, whether you're involved or not, the outcome is for the betterment of the situation and the people involved, regardless of what has happened, what has transpired. And I feel with the Hermit here, sort of gazing at that Ten of Cups, the more open you are to accepting the truth, especially if it's painful, especially if it's embarrassing, or if it's revealing of you, the more humble and graciously you accept it as a learning experience, rather than defending yourself and getting caught up in this Five of Swords, Knight of Wands, the happier you're going to be, the better off you end up. And perhaps even as a larger, looking at this through a larger lens, this could be a great time to accept yourself for being human, for making mistakes, for getting caught up in the wrong situation or relationship or job or whatever it was. Or even, things you've done in the past or allowed to happen in the past. Seeing yourself fully, pulling that perspective back and seeing that you are human just like anyone else. You have made mistakes. But also, embodying the understanding that that's what we're here to do. We're here to learn. We're here to make the mistakes so that we can learn from them, not defend ourselves. Because when we're defending ourselves from perhaps criticism, perhaps that justice, what we're actually doing is just shutting out that opportunity to gain wisdom. We're shutting out the opportunity to learn about not only the world, but ourselves and how we interact with the world and what happens and how things happen and how we get to the point where we made the mistake in the first place. And so we deepen that connection. And so it's sort of that dip into the underworld to learn, to reflect. And eclipses are sort of, kind of a mini underworld trip, right? They're a mini transformation trip, but they're intense. So you go into the underworld to learn, to reflect, to proceed again towards life, towards the light, towards the wisdom. But we can't do that if we just stay in the underworld and try to fight. If we're just like, no, I already know everything. No one can teach me anything. Nothing can teach me anything. Be careful of ego. It's a difficult part of us to wrangle. And be careful about the places in which you might be receiving feedback. Perhaps it's not 100% accurate, but it does have some grain of truth or some seed that you need to take along with you. It is also, I feel, not anyone's place during this eclipse season, especially during the actual eclipse, to be trying to perhaps invoke justice or bring justice to something. It's not necessary for you to point out what other people are doing or what another person did or said. Let the universe take care of that. Because again, the more you get involved, especially if you're trying to, you know, bring and manifest the justice or manifest the reveal or bring the truth, you don't need to. Just sit back. It's going to be fine. It's going to be taken care of. The more you try to do that, the more it's going to kind of backfire. You're going to become the point of attention. Whereas the people that you may be trying to bring light to, that's going to fall by the wayside. You're going to become, the center of that attention, and you don't want that. Trust me. So don't, and it's sort of, I want to say don't make yourself the center of attention. Don't draw attention to yourself. It's not necessary, and it's not going to be what you think or what you want. I hope this resonated for you guys. I hope it is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.